I want to continue talking about the importance of muscle and building muscle. But first, I think we need to back up a little bit and talk about exactly how building muscle works, or how when we lift weights, you see the weights back in the corner. When you're lifting weights, what that actually does. So every time you lift a weight, your body launches into this beautiful symphony. So think of a big symphony on the stage, and everything's working together to produce the beautiful sound. So your body comes together to produce magic, to produce building muscle. So it's the muscles, the nerves, the cells, they all work together to give you strength and to prevent muscle atrophy. So you're getting strength and power and muscle mass, all of this just from lifting weights. So it is so important. But let's, dig into what happens. So muscles are made of thousands of fibers. And yes, I'm reading from my notes because I don't like missing anything. So I go to my notes. I wish I could just give you all this information off the top of my head. But that's not me. So the fibers contract when triggered by signals from the nervous system. So remember, I always say God built a beautiful mechanism. Very, quite a scientific project, the way that everything works together. So it starts in the brain with the electrical impulses, and they travel down to the spinal cord, activating the motor neurons that fire into the muscles, right? So a lot of science when it comes to lifting weights. And this is what we don't think about, right? When we go into the gym to lift, we go in and we're like, we know what happens, but we don't really know the science behind how it happens. And I think that's important. So the heavier the weight, the more muscles or the more fibers are recruited into the muscle or in the muscle to make it happen. I wish my muscle thing here could show you all the different, the breakdown of the fibers, but it doesn't. So we're going to go with what we have. Inside each fiber, the proteins called actin and myosin slide past one another. The sliding shortens the muscle, and it's known as a contraction, which creates force. When you lift the weight, your muscles contract. That's a concentric movement. And when you lower it, they stretch under tension, which is an eccentric. Both are essential for building strength. So if you think about, I always say when I'm training somebody, flexion and extension. You want to control it through the flex and the extend. So shorten, lengthen. And you can put your hand there and you really can feel the muscle working. All right, so then with weightlifting, it causes tiny little tears. And this is what I would share with a lot of my clients, and they would freak out. They're like, what do you mean you're putting tiny little tears? But that's what causes that muscle growth. So the heavier you lift, you're putting these tiny tears in the muscle fiber. With rest and hydration and nutrition, your body repairs. And your body can only repair at rest. It can't repair itself when it's constantly being worked. So when you rest, typically at night, that's when the body goes in, or the cells go in, and it starts to fix all the tiny little tears. This is what makes the muscles thicker and stronger, called hypertrophy. So the next time you train, remember, every rep is a message to your body. Train with purpose, recover with care, and your muscles will rise to the challenge. Now, let's go forward, and we're going to talk about the difference in like the training volume. And because I get this question a lot, is what is the difference between 3 sets of 10 reps or 2 sets of 15, right? Both come to 30. 3 sets of 10, 30, 2 sets of 15 is 30. So what does that really matter? And yes, it does. So when it's really talking about training volume and muscle fatigue and goals. So training volume, if you're doing 3 sets of 10, it gives you a total of 30, while 2 sets of 15 gives you the same thing. But the way that the fatigue builds up is different. So muscle fatigue and endurance. Higher reps, like the one with the 15 per set, typically lead to more muscle endurance development, while lower reps allows for more recovery between the efforts, leading to strength improvements. So I like, it just depends, right? It depends on, to me, the day, if I'm busy and I need to get in there, and so I'll just do a quick 2 of 15. If I've got the time, I want to do the 3 sets of 10 with that rest in between. So strength versus hypertrophy. So generally 3 sets of 10 is more common for hypertrophy, muscle growth. Remember, we just talked about that. While 2 sets of 15 leads to more muscle endurance. So think of this in terms of a sprint or a marathon, okay? So you have endurance, that is where you're going on that long run, or are we sprinting? Are we sprinting today? Are we doing a short run? So recovery and intensity. Fewer sets with more reps may mean lighter weight and more continuous movement, while more sets with fewer reps allow for heavier weights and strength building. The reason why I talk about this is because a lot of people say, well, what's the difference? And we're going to get to muscle, building muscle versus toning, because that's kind of the segue here. A lot of people will say, well, I don't want to build, I don't want to get, the girth, I just want to tighten and tone. And that's kind of where this comes in. Typically, if you're building muscle, you are going to do 3 sets of a lower weight as opposed to tighten and toning, where you're going to do a lot of reps with little weight. So maybe you're just doing your 3-pound weights and you're doing maybe 2 and 3 sets of 15 of 3 pounds versus when you go and you're really trying to build muscle and you might only get 3 reps of a 15, 20, 25 pound weight for a curl. And if I'm going fast, that's just how it's how I am. But you can watch this video and look at it again, and you'll also see that in the notes. All right, so now let's segue into that muscle building versus toning. It's a popular question, again, that I get. So yes, there is a difference between muscle building and toning, and they're often used interchangeably. So again, building muscle, hypertrophy, is increasing muscle size through resistance training and progressive overload. So that means if you're doing, let's say we're doing those reps of really heavy weights, you want to continue to progress. That's how your muscle grows. If you keep doing the same thing over and over, or you just keep lifting these 3-pound weights, you are not going to grow that muscle. So lifting heavier weights over time. That's why you'll see a lot of people, women, bodybuilders, tracking exactly what they're doing so they know they can see the increase. They're like, okay, well, today or this week, usually takes about 8 weeks to really see the change. The change is happening right then and there. Your muscle adaptations are happening right there. But to really see that change, it's going to be about 8 weeks. And then your body gets used to that workout within 8 weeks. So then you have to change. So about every couple of months, you want to change your workout, because your body loves change but hates change, if that makes any sense. So you want to make sure that you are tracking where you are so you can see, where you need to make those changes the next time you do. So typically require strength-focused workouts, adequate protein intake. Remember, we got to rebuild and you got to replenish and have that rest, but your muscles need the protein to help continue to build because it goes in and does that work at night. And your overall caloric support for muscle growth. I have been posting on my other social media platforms about that protein intake. And I think I've posted the shorts on here on YouTube as well. But your body needs a certain amount of protein, and it all depends on you, your activity, and typically your weight. So male, female, gender plays a role, your body weight, and then exactly what your body activity. So if you are a heavy lifter, you'll probably be consuming a little bit more protein. All right, so now let's talk about toning, muscle definition. So toning refers to achieving a leaner look by reducing body fat while maintaining muscle. So usually tighten and toning is for somebody who is already at their desired weight and they just want to keep maintaining. So they want to tighten and tone. It combines involving strength training at higher rep ranges along with cardiovascular exercise to reveal muscle definition. And usually when you want to see when tighten and toning, like right before a competition, you'll see that, but you have to have a lower body fat to really reveal those muscles. I see this a lot with abs. Everybody's like, "Oh, I'm doing all these, abs, and why don't I see my six pack yet?" Well, you got to make sure that you don't have a lot of excess fat in that area. So remember, fat, I wouldn't call it an enemy. It's only an enemy when it's in excess. Your body does need some fat. It helps keep your body warm, regulate your temperature. It protects vital organs. So it's just when we get too much, all right? So I don't want to, we're not dogging fat. Fat is needed in the body, otherwise we wouldn't have it. So to be able to reveal that muscle tone, you will have to have a lower body fat content. So essentially, muscle tone is visible under that lower body percentage, while muscle building focuses on increasing the mass itself. The best approach just depends on your goal, but requires strength training and proper nutrition. I cannot emphasize enough, don't let your workout go to waste. You really have to also focus on nutrition. They go hand in hand. Typically, we say it's 80% nutrition and 20% is the workout, because you can work out all day long. Remember, I say this, you can work out all day, but really maybe not notice the difference on the scale, but you can watch what you eat in a day, like have that calorie deficit, and you're going to notice it the next morning. So they go hand in hand. You can't out train a bad diet. So stay tuned. I love just sharing this tidbits of information with you. Let's continue to live a healthy, happy life. Share this because you never know who might need it. All right, we'll talk soon.